A couple of them were bigger.
All right, guys.
Realize
Welcome to the Frequency Control Show. Will's celebrating some wins right now. Health is wealth. And that's part of this show to piggyback off that. I'll Sleep When I'm Dead is the title, based on the importance of getting your sleep. And I'll let Will kick it off in that angle.
so. I have sleep apnea, where I sleep with a machine, and I've had the same mask for years. You know what I mean? And it didn't cover. I don't really need to go into that. It didn't. Well, yeah, it didn't cover my mouth and all this type of stuff. So I upgraded to a new mask, and it's taken me. I'm still getting used to it actually, but actually, after I found out how to use it properly, and have faith in the tool. I didn't have faith in the tool at first because it was not working. I'll just no, I will tell you, like, I got a new mask, and my mask for years has not had the air because I have sleep apnea. For those of you that don't know, I stop breathing when I sleep because my airway closes because apparently my jaw is set back further than a lot of other people's. Plus, I am heavier than I should be right now, working on that as well. But I couldn't. I mean, I was using this mask and I was still breathing through my nose, but it wasn't how it's set up. It's set up to for you to breathe through your mouth and your nose, and I wasn't breathing through my mouth because I'm so used to have my mouth closed because I only have ones that cover my nose. So, and it wasn't working. Like, I almost broke the mask a couple of times taking it off because I couldn't catch my breath, and then I finally succumbed to using my mouth and breathing through my mouth, and I didn't wake up again until morning, and my head, so I woke up and my eyeballs, when you wake up and your eyes hurt because the light is so bright and you got to wait a sec to adjust to it. That really hasn't been happening in my sleep. I haven't been getting really deep sleep where I wake up and my eyes are hurting because it's so bright. But that's the first morning my eyes were hurting, and I could just really tell the immediate difference just from that. Like, why are my eyes hurting? Because I got some good sleep, and my whole mind frame, the entire past, it's been 3 days. It's not very long, but my whole mind frame and how much more confidence I have and how much more happier I am to go home and do the things that I won't have to go to the job for anymore. Just everything. Um, because I'm not just tired all the time, and don't have the not as much drive to put enough of the time in all the time. You know, uh, just that adjustment of getting good sleep has totally completely changed my life in 2 days. And it's not an excuse. Like, I mean, like, just my mindset of how I'm carrying myself throughout the day, not being heavy. It's the only way I can explain it. Not being heavy headed. I feel my like calmer, and my mind is clearer because I actually got real good sleep, and it's just added that much more benefit to keeping in line with what I'm trying to do. It's even more exciting to keep going. Plus, I'm at a point at this job where I got to be around different people or no people, because the people I'm currently around 8 hours, 8 9 hours a day is not leading me towards success at all. What I think success is, I feel like it's hindering because of all the energy, and I get frustrated because there's people that cannot execute at the most basic level in a professional manner, and that type of stuff is frustrating, and kind of gets me down sometimes. Like, man, you know what I mean. This is basic stuff. We should all be succeeding, you know. So, man, sleep. I just can't, doing the right things consistently and long enough. But it's like doing as many of the right things as you can, which includes not just action towards what you're doing, but eating better, getting better sleep, exercising, and it's as many of the right things as you can do consistently and long enough.
Those are all support pieces for uh, being able to take the action, because how hard would it be to take an action that requires some physical form? Say your goal is to become an athlete, and you need energy, but you don't sleep right, and you don't eat right, and you don't work out. Those things, you're not helping yourself to take the action. You have to be in the right shape to take action. To take massive action, you have to have massive preparation. Again, it's fail to prepare and prepare to fail. So the bottom line is, if you don't prepare, sleep is preparation, right? Eating right is preparation. I was telling Will, if I don't wake up, if I go to sleep and wake up at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I know I need to get up at 5, well, I've just lost an hour or two of sleep. And meaning now what I had designed my day based off of being fully functional. Most of us write our daily goals. If we have large, ambitious daily goals, we write them based off of a fully functioning human being doing them. Energized human being is completing this. A person with vigor is completing this. Well, if you haven't set yourself up to have that energy and that spunk, and you've slept right, you've eaten great, you've fueled your body with the greatest of things, you've gotten some exercise, you're now trying to achieve what somebody who is in great shape and great mind and sound mind, had good sleep and is rested well. You're competing with that, meaning you're putting in a lot more force, and you're forcing yourself to do these things, and you're going to have a crappier outcome. So preparation, sleep is preparation. And so a lot of people go, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Sleep is for, whatever. I don't need to sleep. It's like, well, if you you want to be, you know, rode hard and put away wet when you're old, and the next thing you look like you're 90 at friggin' 40. So you can only have so many years like that before your heart gives out. You're mortal, right? So preparation's massive, to doing that. In fact, you say you sleep a full 8 hours, you're going to be able to achieve more in the rest of that time than you could if you slept 4 hours. You think, well, I've got more hours towards my goal. It's like, yeah, but we can easily say that 4 of those hours were lackluster. You didn't really push. You kind of were like a little bit tired, so you slowly did things. You may have made a mistake. Hell, you're a woodworker. You might have cut your finger off on accident or some shit. If you work in some dangerous thing because you're tired and you're not sharp, mentally, and at some point, man, everybody pays the piper. The sleep, Mr. Sandman wants his hours, and you might give them through your heart, and they'll force you to rest, and you'll get laid up. You'll get sick easier. There's these things where you think you're getting ahead, but really, man, it's like, when you start to haul ass and speed and hurry up, and then you get pulled over by a cop. You're like, shit, tried to get to work earlier. That actually cost me, I was, instead of 2 minutes late, I'm now a half hour late, and I got a $180 ticket, or I'm rushing, and the next thing like, I'm hauling ass, and I'm like, instead of taking 2 trips with this trash, I'm gonna grab the trash and the recycling, and the next thing the trash rips out because I couldn't hold it with 2 hands under it, and now I'm spending the next 25 minutes cleaning that shit up. And it's like, well, how did that help? You start rushing, and it's like, at some point, man, you're gonna pay. So preparation with your sleep, your exercise, and I'm a hypocrite right now with the exercise piece. I need to exercise more and eat better. Actually, I eat pretty good, but I need to stop drinking beer and things of that nature. Doesn't really help. So, but that's in my goals, and I understand when I'm fatigued in the middle of the day, and I know exactly why. If I decided to be on the podcast and have a few drinks, no big deal. Well, guess what? My Friday that I thought was gonna be the Superstar Friday is not a Superstar Friday. It's just a little bit like a firecracker. It's not a star. It's less. So, you know, sleep is preparation. I mean, you're setting yourself up to win by sleeping good, and if you don't, hell, I fully plan. I go to sleep. I understand if you have a wife or significant other and they stay up later. My wife stays up till 10 or 11, and I'm in bed by 8:39. This is the latest I stay up is right now, because I get up at 5, and she gets up hella late, and nothing's cooler than, say, starting at 5. Your wife's up by, say, 9, and you've already gotten 4 hours of shit done, and now when she comes, you're not pressed or whatever, and you get to treat them better because you're not so like, oh, I gotta get all this stuff done. There's less on your mind. You already felt like you've won for the day. You've gotten all out with nobody bugging you. So there's something to be said about preparation, preparing to win. Again, luck, preparation meets opportunity. That's luck. So prep, 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 and then when the opportunity comes, you seem like one lucky ass dude. You know,
I have a story. So there's a story about these two guys and they're chopping wood. And one guy is chopping wood all day long, not taking any breaks, not drinking that much water, not getting really good sleep, and he's chopping wood all day long. And then there's this other guy who's chopping wood, and he takes breaks, and he gets food in him, and he drinks a lot of water, and he's not chopping nearly as much as the other guy, right? But yet the guy that's putting all his time in chopping wood still isn't chopping as much wood as the other guy. So he asked him, like, how is it that I'm chopping wood all day long, so much more than you, and you're out here barely chopping wood and gone doing whatever, getting good sleep and this type of stuff. He's like, how is it that you are cutting more than I am? He goes, because I spent a lot of time sharpening my axe. You know, he's cutting wood, and he's eating, and he's getting good sleep, and he's sharpening his tool. The other guy is over here chopping wood on a dull blade. Wonder why he's not chopping wood as much as the other guy that's not working as hard as him. Because sometimes it's not how hard you work. It's, are you sharpening your tools, and getting your rest and eating good, and you know taking time to feel good about yourself and sharpening your tools, man. And you'll go further than a guy that's just chopping all day nonstop with the dull axe. You have to. You got to sharpen your tools, man. I always like that story. This is perfect time to bring that story out. It's just so.
yeah, it's like I actually that resonates with me heavy in the sense of, in a bunch of different ways, but one which is a real life thing. As a kid, I was a modern day slave for my parents, and I built many fences, dug lots of post holes and trenches, and I was the strongest kid in school, and not because I was trying to be, but because I had to do so much friggin' work. And Southern California's got a lot of rock and stuff you got to break through to even dig a hole. And my stepdad had me using a post hole digger that was like broken and curled up under, like so instead of a sharp thing to cut into the dirt, it was already round, so it was like punching a fist trying to dig a hole with your fist. And and I was doing it. I would do it. I would get these like needle nose like vice grips and clamp them in and bend that shit straight again, but it was already split in little tiny splits. So they were like half-inch splits all over, and then they would fold under, and so now you got a dull edge trying to chop into the dirt. Yeah, I'd still get it done, but it would take forever. I mean, my stepdad come like, dude, you got like 4 post holes done. I'm like, man, I'm out here just trying to dig with this crappy equipment. And his mother came out and saw me digging a hole. I was digging these 4-foot deep holes, right? And so it's gonna take a while. And she's out there. You're just banging on these holes, banging on. And I'm buff at this time, so I'm not like some weakling. She goes, I'm over it. Fuck this. She says, sorry for my language, but that's exactly what she said verbatim. She says, I'm out of here. This isn't even her deal. This is her son's house. This is some other kid that has zero to do with her. It's like step grandkid or whatever. But she was like, this is stupid. Like, why would you work with bad stuff, bad preparation? How are you going to win? How are you going to expect to have this done? Mind you, I'm super yoked as a kid, and it's on record, so anybody who watches knows. As a ninth grader, I was ripped, right? But I couldn't dig a hole very fast because my tools sucked. And so like she goes to Ace Hardware, comes back, brand new post hole digger, and I'm like, hell yeah, like she's like, here you go, that's the right thing to use. And she's just pissed at her kid, right? I go in there this one time, shunk. I mean, it's freaking, at least 12 inches, if not more, of dirt. And where I've been digging, 2 inches, 3 inches at a time trying to get it, and just shunk, boom, boom, boom. I swear, 6 strokes, I had the 4-foot deep hole dug and done. That shit would have took me the whole day to dig one with that bad tool. And I had that shit done in probably, 20 minutes. I had his whole project done. Went in the house, bumped Guns N' Roses on his big ass stereo system, and kicked it the rest of the time. and he comes home like, "Oh my God, you got all this done!" I'm like, yeah, Grandma bought me a new post hole digger. I didn't tell him how fast I got it done because I wanted to like sandbag a little bit so he doesn't know like, oh hell, then I'm gonna have you do 10 of these projects. But the point was, having the right tools and being prepared, I was able to do what normally would take me a day or two to do with bad tools in 20 minutes. I went in, banged it out, man, in no time. These are 4-foot deep post holes. You got to understand that thing's only about freaking 5 foot tall. So I'm all the way down, almost with the dirt, just trying to get it out. That's how deep these holes are, almost as deep as the post hole digger was. It's there's something to be said about sharpening your tools and getting it done. And it's just more of an analogy than that story. Is getting your tools right. Like, for instance, I constantly re-up and I pay thousands of dollars in training. If you went back in my studio, you would see there's a bookshelf and a video shelf of probably $3,000 worth of videos of pianos, guitar, producing, mixing, mastering, how to fucking rap. I have a book about that, the history of rap music, books on how to produce, but like books on or videos on getting your tone right with your stuff. I've got subscriptions to Mix with the Masters. It costs me $500 a year, or $346, something like that. But 500 sounds cooler. Anyway, each year I'm paying for that, and it's just to watch what the OGs do on their stuff, and I pay for that. Sound kits, things of that nature, and I'm constantly YouTube. I am a YouTube fanatic, and I watch it religiously, strictly on how to, and I sharpen my stuff. So like, what would take somebody else their whole life to make a song sound good, they're not doing. I can sit down because I prep, and I always am getting better, and mix something and have it sound 9 times better than somebody who takes in 25 minutes. I can sound dope, and much like the radio, and the time somebody else could literally spend the rest of their life hammering down without any more training and never get to. And you can have 40 hours against me, 40 hours, no problem, and 20 minutes, and I'll guarantee I'll have my shit sounding better than yours in 20 minutes. It's just like that, unless you know as much as me. But my point is, for somebody who doesn't sharpen their tools, doesn't get their stuff together, doesn't get the right amount of sleep, you know, you're setting yourself up to lose, and there's something to be said about preparation and doing it the right way, not just forcing things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that hits right at home. To be honest, you have to sharpen your tools, and it just doesn't mean what you're the actions you're taking to achieve your goals. It's also about you and your health and your sleep, the things you're putting in your body. If you're going to McDonald's and you're eating that crap, not just the weight, but think about just the food and, how is your brain going to be sharp and want to take action towards the things you want to do if you're eating food that your body can't even really use because it's not feeding the brain with energy it needs to be on point to go do the things you need to do to succeed. You'll start come up with excuses. You'll do it tomorrow, or you'll take another action that leads you away from doing it at all because you're just not operating and vibrating at a high level. You're vibrating at a low level that is not allowing you to do the right things consistently and long enough.
Yeah, you got to have
Your
stamina.
body, your body's a tool too.
You got to think of yourself as an athlete because you're asking yourself
Mm,
mentally as much as you would as an athlete, which has to
to
sleep,
do more.
prep, do all these things, and you have to set yourself up to win, and sleep is a massive part of it. It might sound dumb, like where's this with mindset? How do you have a great mindset? Do you know what's funny? My wife screamed at me the other night, like last night. She comes home upset because she hadn't eaten all day. She hadn't eaten all day, and she's hangry, and so then she's complaining about the house, and I'm just like, man, I just want to jump off a freaking cliff or something, man. Get the hell out of here with all that noise, right? I'm trying to focus on something large, and you're yelling at me about like if the counters aren't wiped down perfectly, I'm like, damn, and but in a sense, the funny part is, you know, she goes and eats her little crappy food. By the way, she goes and eats some little crappy ass food, uh, and then comes up to me and is like, later on, I'm going in the garage to come back in, and she's like, "Hi, honey," and she wants a hug and kiss on me, and I'm like, "Well, where's this satanic worshiper you were just that was just in my house, you know?" And she goes, "I'm so sorry. I was just hungry. I'm okay now." But it's hard to have a great attitude, which is what you need to be the next level. You can't have a shitty attitude.
You're
Some
not
people,
operating. She wasn't operating at a high level.
she failed. She failed to prepare. So
Yeah.
she failed. So the bottom line is she failed. She came home. She's upset. Now I'm upset at her. And hell, I was still upset. I was pissed. I was like, I'm gonna go up my room and chill and do my thing, take care of my stuff. Uh, and didn't even barbecue for her. Just like whatever. Normally I'd cook her food and do the dinner thing. Hey, you want to be stupid? Whatever. Like. But at the same time, it's like that's a failure. But it was not because she planned to do it or she's like that. It's just she failed to prepare. Like if she would prepare her meals throughout the day to be correct instead of starving herself all day until she comes home, she'd be in a good shape. But instead, she's comes home and she eats top ramen to feel better. So now her stomach feels better, but she's now didn't prepare and ate crappy food, and now feels better for now because her stomach's full. But at the end of the day, her salt's high. I was watching this thing with Bill Burr, who's talking about how like people that eat super salty stuff and then now are chasing a sugar high, and then so like you're all over the place. You can't even like function correctly. So there's something to be said about preparing with great sleep, you know, eating right. I do eat right. I just, like I said, I drink beer, so that's why I look like I do. But I'm working on that too, because I noticed that it's affecting my sleep. If I have a few too many drinks, like I'll wake up at 3 or 4, and then I'll just be up. And then it's like, and once I'm up, my mind turns on. And if my mind turns on, I'm thinking about all the 90 things I got going on and juggling right now, all the dominoes I'm setting up, and I'm up, and I'm not executing very well at any of them. I'm now up all groggy, like, yeah, but I'm up, and I'm thinking about all these things and knowing damn well, great, now it's going to be more of an obstacle and to overcome and a hurdle for tomorrow or that day, to get achieved what I'm trying to achieve. To do that, it's gonna requires a well prepared, rested person. Eating right and all that. You got to feed your mind and you got to feed food and all these things. And if you don't, it's gonna be hard for you to achieve these great things. Think of these people that were inventors and stuff. They didn't just do it like half asleep. They had to at some point, get some sleep and eat right. Sure, great things came to them when they were up for like 18 days and on some weird chemical. I get it because they had to think outside the box. But once they figured that out to achieve it and build the plane or whatever it was they figured out how to do, or the rocket or whatever it was, they needed to be focused. They couldn't do that half asleep. Hence the reason half of them blew up and shit in the middle of their experiments. But it's massively important to take care of yourself, get your stuff done. Ken Lewis is one of Kanye West's mix engineers. One day he's like, the best mixing advice I can give you? And I'm thinking, yes, here's the fucking magic pill, the ultimate secret. He's like, drink water. Drink more water. He goes, when you feel tired, he goes, it's probably because you're dehydrated and you need to drink more water. And he's like, drink more water. He goes, because I used to think that if I didn't sleep, I'd get more shit done. I'd meet more deadlines and quicker. I could take on more work, make more money. He goes, and then my body said, fuck you. And he goes, at 34, I had a heart attack. He goes, mind you, I'm a guy who works out and ate great, but I didn't sleep or drink enough water. So he worked out. He was in great shape. As far as physically, he had his little muscles and stuff. Could take his shirt off and be happy about it. But he didn't drink enough water and he didn't sleep. So he, as what would look like a healthy specimen, almost died of a heart attack because he didn't drink enough water and he didn't sleep. Isn't that crazy? In great shape. Never had family issues with heart attack, but it's just like, you have to sleep. Your body needs to rest and repair itself. All that hard work you're doing, all that grinding you're working, when you grind, it wears things down. That's what grinding is. You're wearing it down. Well, you need to rest and let it fix itself, right? Your body needs to fix itself. Get your mind right. It's something to be said. And then you'll be more effective. Again, that sleeping is part of sharpening your tool. You're sharpening your sharpness, your wittiness. I'm freaking on point, right? Sharp, on point. Same with a tool. You sleep, you sharpen your weapon just by sleeping. Now you go in there and do what would take 4 or 5 hours for a regular person and get it done in 20 minutes because you're sharp, you're concise. You're going to get more done. You're not losing time. People are wrong to think that by sleeping 8 hours that they're losing a few hours, that they could be getting ahead. It's like, no, you're actually getting behind. It's like almost like the slow and steady wins the race, like a tortoise in the hare. That keep chugging along, or you can sprint and then pass out. I do that too. Stay up hella late, get up early, and go stupid, and then it's like noon comes and I'm like 4-hour nap. I'm like, well, how did that even help me get ahead? I'm like kind of in the same spot, but it's all herky jerky and not even really done well. It's how great was I on my logos or whatever it was I was creating. Yeah, you gotta prep.
Yes, if you just, I mean, if you're just trying to do basic stuff and that's all you're trying to do, then who really cares how you're eating, what you're putting in your body? You'll be able to do basic stuff. But if you're trying to do bigger things and, do things where more elite mentality type of people are also contributing to as well, and you're trying to do better than them, you have to rise above basic and start doing more than just the basics.
That's why you'll notice like elite people eat better foods. Like the elitists, they have better diets. They
They
know.
eat at regular restaurants
Yeah,
where better food's being served, and they're
yeah.
not they're not in Domino's, man.
Nope.
Where people,
Better
they're at
fuels.
they're at 5-star restaurants eating fresh stuff out the sea.
Yep.
High end food to where they can eat less and go longer.
You have to sleep great, eat great, and do all these other things great to be great. You can't be great with like bad habits and shit, or you die. Look at like and this is bad for me to even say this, but like look at like DMX. He's great, but he had a habit. The habit caught up to him, and he passed away. You know what I mean? He passed away from that habit. Sure, he was executing great shit, doing great things. God just finishes an album at 50 years old. He finished an album, but get this, he died from the habit. You know what I mean? He's able to achieve at a high level, but to keep going past that, he didn't get to enjoy his album release or see how people receive that. There's something to be said about like you want greatness. You can't just execute the greatness. You can't just go out there and be the investor that gets all the money if you're sitting there eating 90 cheeseburgers and you're all fats hanging out the side of your body and you're fucking healthy. You're gonna die. Like you want to do great shit, man. You got to be able to handle the stress that comes that way. And if you're overweight, it ain't happening, dude. Even me at the level I'm at, I know I need to get better in my health because the levels of stress that start to come with the more you take on. Because like you want to do great things. If you like Will was saying, if you want to be basic, do basic shit, man, keep doing what you're doing. You're eating the right, you're sleeping the right amount, you're eating the right amount, you're working out the right amount for basic ass shit. So good job. If that and no knock to you, really, I honestly say that if you only want that and that's all that matters, and you've got this new woke ass mindset where you're all about like I just want to be happy, well cool. If you can find happiness with a bad diet and low fucking bad workout and no sleep, and yet your mind still stays happy and that makes you happy, right on, and you're in a mentally happy state, you need to actually sleep, eat right, and do all that just so you're not depressed. you know, so even to be basically normal, you probably actually need to still do a lot of this shit anyway, because if because you say you have no ambition, but if you don't want to be depressed and suicidal, you probably gotta have a little bit better diet. It's not as strict because you're not asking as much out of yourself, but you still need to sleep good, keep you in the mental play. If you want to be kind to people, sleeping better and doing that stuff, especially if most people aren't inherently kind, it takes some effort, man. Like, some of my kids annoy the shit out of me, and I have to find that kind of bone in my body, which it's a very small bone in my whole body, the smallest one, and I have to literally go, oh, I gotta go get that kind bone to be cool, because normally that's not how I am. My reactions aren't normal like that, but I have to do that. But if I don't sleep or eat right, guarantee I ain't finding that bone. It's hidden under all the fat from me overeating and not sleeping, and when you don't sleep, your body doesn't metabolize your food right, and you just get fatter. So unless you're on meth or something like that, but bottom line is prepare. Sleep is preparedness. There's something to be said about getting your rest, getting your exercise, feeding your body what it needs to excel and be great, meaning the right nutrients, not just feeding your body a burger. Feed it the actual nutrients it needs. Don't drag it down with too much salt, and then your salt spikes, and you need some sugar, and then you're eating your mind and your body's all over the place. I didn't even think about that until I was watching this thing on Bill Burr. He's one of my favorite comedians, and he was talking about, like, he's on this health kick, and he's just like, man, my nutritionist was talking about less salt. He goes, so like, you want that salt because it tastes good. He goes, but then you want that sugar because that tastes good, and you're offsetting, and eat too much of anything is bad, right? And so now he's eating that, and now he can like flow through a whole day nice and steady and feel great, and not spike in energy. You know, you notice how you have some good energy, and then you spike, and you're like groggy and down, and then you're back up to normal, and then you're down, and you're like, how do you schedule your day around being all over the place? Energy wise, if your energy's up and down and all over the place, how do you schedule your day consistently? You got at least how my schedules look: 5 to 6, this is getting completed; 6 to 7, this is 7 to 8, this is happening; 3 to 2, and my day goes like that. But if my energy is all over the place, it's like, well, 3 to 4, I was fucking hella tired, so that didn't get done. 5 to 6, I was just getting out of it, and I trying to do back to what was happening at 4 to 2, you know, and so the next thing you know, my day's all over the place because my energy's all over the place, you know. So there's something to be said about preparing to win, you know.
100%. I don't have anything else on the subject.
Yeah, it's kind of a simple subject. I guess
I think that's good.
Kind
man.
of
Like,
beat the shit out of that horse, but yeah. So something to be said about sleeping. Enjoy your sleep. Eat well. Again, just like me, my struggle right now is I can't just plan to sleep 8 hours. I have to not drink a lot the night before so that I can get the full sleep. Because if not, if I drink, I wake up. And then it's like, so you went to bed at 8. That was good. You started off right. Problem is you got drunk before 8. So now you're up at 3. Now you're up at 3, and you plan to wake up at 5. Now you're all over the place. So I guarantee what Will's eating is not healthy. What is that you're eating?
grapes.
Oh, never mind. So he is eating healthy late at night too. That's perfect. Anyway, but there's something to be said about just because you set aside the 8 hours of sleep, you got to prepare for your sleep, which means don't over consume alcohol. Don't, if you have one drink, cool, one drink, but don't go drinking 10 drinks and expecting to sleep well, or when you do wake up and you feel like a football player just hit you with their helmet right on your head, chances are you're going to have a hard time that next day executing at the level you're trying to do, which is obviously greatness. So, simple as that. Sleep is not your enemy. That sleep when I'm dead stuff happens to people that are probably going to die because they didn't sleep.
Sharpen your tools. Your body and your mind is the tool. You have to feed it accordingly.
All right, guys, like, comment, subscribe if you
check us out.
If you believe in that.
Takeoff checklist. These audio versions are coming, and the breakdown is fire. It breaks down this daily takeoff checklist. It gives you some gems, some stuff to think about that isn't really talked about that much, at least along the levels of people I'm currently associated with on a daily basis. But it's really exciting. I'm excited to get this out. I'm excited for people to hear it, and hopefully it might just touch you in a way that you start doing more of the right things consistently and long enough.
All right, guys.